Now, we also need to maintain the LD scan area. This is an area where inventory scans are delivered from the client machines up to the core server. So again, back over here on the core server, I'm going to drop into one of the shares that we have in here on the core server, which is the LD main share. So as you can see here, I've gone into //core /LD main. In here, in this share, is the LD scan folder. And when I get into the LD scan folder, this is where inventory scans are coming into the system that are going to be processed. Now, if I was a person that was managing this core server, then I would want to check this area on a regular basis. We want to verify and make sure that scans aren't backing up in this particular area. We want to make sure that they're being processed and this LD scan folder is being cleared out. Now in here we also have other folders. We have the error scan folder, which if scans are out of sync or they have issues with the scan, we're going to toss them out here into the error scan folder. If the scans are really large, too large for the system to process right then, the scans are going to get moved over into the error big scan folder. And the error trans folder is an indication we've had some type of transmission here with the scan being sent up to the core server. And we don't want to process those particular scans because, again, they've had issues in their transmission. Now, you will have scans showing up in the error scan because you will have machines that will go out of sync and those scans are going to get tossed out. The next time the machine comes through to run an inventory scan, it will run another full scan. But if we have scans showing up in any one of these folders here, then we can actually get into the application section of the event viewer and we can see why those scans are in these respective folders. So if I get here into the Windows log, I come here to the application section. In here, we're going to be able to see those particular entries and what's going on here within the system. Now, as I mentioned here, if a machine was out of sync, then it's going to put an entry in here for that particular inventory scan. And the event ID in here will be 2391. That's how we'll find those type of scans, is we can search for an event ID of 2391. Now, with that, we're going to be able to identify why the scans are going into this error scan folder. And then once we've determined that, we can just delete the files. If files go into the error big scan folder, then we can adjust the inventory scanner to accommodate larger files and process those files and then change it back to the default value. The default value is a 20 meg file. Anything larger than a 20 meg file, it's going to throw out into that error big scan. So then we can adjust the inventory service, put the files back here into the LD scan folder, let them be processed, and then take that setting and change it back to our default value of 20 meg. And then as I mentioned before, the error trans folder, we're just going to delete those files. But we want to look at the file because we want to determine what machine that scan is coming from. Because there's probably a problem with somewhere along that transmission route. Either a network interface port is going bad or a switch or router is going bad. So we want to bring that to the attention of network administrators so that they can help us to troubleshoot the problem. So these are the type of things that we might see here as we're going through looking at this inventory process. But again, we don't want to see scans backing up here in the LD scan folder. We want to see that they're getting processed. Now there are times when you're going to come in here and you're going to have .tmp files, again files with a .tmp extension, that have an older date and timestamp. If it has today's date and timestamp, then leave it alone. It's a scan that's still being brought into the system. If it has just an older date and timestamp just by 1 day, again, this is an indication of an inventory scan that the machine started processing or started placing the inventory scan here on the core server, but it never got a chance to finish it. And so because it never is going to finish that, then we can just go in and delete those files. We can delete the .tmp files that have an older date and timestamp. Okay, all right, so these are some of the elements that we need to take into effect as we're going in to manage our core server as far as the inventory scans are concerned.